and I lost Deborah. I'm so sorry, Deborah. If you come back and listen to this, I apologize for talking so long. Downtown for the boy and girl who just met. They're at the school with the sports league, the soccer sports league. The soccer doesn't want to meet people because they make fun of him and they talk behind his back, laugh at him. Okay. Then he looked around the crowds of people for the boy and girl he had just met, John and Susan Kramer, but they couldn't be found. Something about the girl's face lingered in his mind. He also wondered about her warning not to black cloud. Just as much came along to a black truck that had the back doors open. The truck was stuffed with toys. A man looked at Daniel's number card, then waited. He put the toys in a bag and gave them to Daniel. That's the only combo gizmo we've given up. The only way he does his mother drifted away. Drifted away. He looked around, waiting to hear the voice of his mother calling him back. He walked faster and faster until he was running at his limping. Be the gray man. Be inconspicuous. Be not. Don't be obvious. He just kind of. So he didn't know the streets very well. Centerville was an easy town to get around. All three small towns used the trees. They ran north and south. Main Street ran north and south through the middle of town, and at the very center, all along the sidewalks. Okay, sorry. All along the sidewalks. Were old wooden rail benches. Most of the stores in Centerville lined the square or were on North or South Main Street. The street divided the town in halves of east and west. Since Daniel based in Oak near, Daniel followed East 10th all the way into the center of town. The town square was a change for Daniel. Since he had lived in the city, he visited for it. The library was just off the southwest corner of the square on 10th Street. So the library is on 10th Street. The library was old and worn. The brass doorknob was polished bright from so many hands turning. When he stepped inside, he felt that yet he was disappointed because the Centerville library was much smaller than the one in his old neighborhood in the city. The library seemed empty, and he didn't try to hide his limp. A woman was behind the counter, even though he was sure she noticed his leg. She didn't ask him any questions like some people did. Adults, even total strangers, would often ask him how he hurt his leg as if they had a right to know just because he was a child. So I want to answer the question, dude. Mind your own business. MYOFB. Mind your own business. He filled out a form and got a library card. Then he slowly walked up and down the road. There were plenty of books that looked interesting, so Daniel thought that maybe the library would be better than he first imagined. He finally checked out a book on World War II airplanes, and he found in the adult non-fiction section and went back outside. He walked around the town. I gotta try to myself to remember that. Turn the darn AC off, then you can hear better. I apologize. I hope not too bad. If it is, maybe I'll redo it. Maybe not too. I don't know. Okay, so we are on page whatever. I guess 21. Windows over. Then he walked up North Main Street to 14th Street, out his key and let himself to the front. I know I read too. I'm not sure if it's easier on my throat. If I think it's whatever, I think it's easier on my throat or not. I don't know. Okay. Ford's pulling the phone back. I can't. If I take it off charger, it'll probably die. If it dies, too bad. Spirit Flyer bicycle just seemed to be waiting for him. Daniel moved the Glide Super Wings out of the way. He had only ridden the bike times, and that was just as that's his mother. It's a real bicycle. It's a modern bicycle. It's black and ugly and it has cobras on it. That's why she intended to get the bike at all. She had made it plain to Daniel several times how she door he got the bike. As pedaled out into the street, he immediately began to feel better. Daniel had been both sad and worried about the move. Give me my table / armrest. What'd that say? He said, it's really irritating. I saw something on there. What happened to it? Okay. Daniel had been both sad and worried about the move. Though he missed his friends, he missed his father more. Since his father still lived in the city, Daniel wondered how often he would see him. His father used to visit about every other weekend, but since they were living so far away now, he knew it would be even harder for them to visit each other. Daniel pushed all the sad thoughts out of his mind as he rode the old red bicycle toward the edge of town. One of the best things about riding the bike was that no one noticed his limp. On 2 wheels, the injury became invisible, and Daniel felt free and normal. He pedaled north up Oak Street until most of the houses were gone. Above 19th Street, a 2-lane, so he turned onto the road. As soon as he pedaled past the last house, he saw the big factory. The factory was about a quarter mile down the road on the left. The two tall smokestacks stuck silently up into the sky. Since his mother worked there, Daniel thought he'd better take a better look. He'd better take a better look. A big chain link fence surrounded the factory grounds. A small sign was stuck on the corner of the fence. The sign gave a warning. Goliath Industries, no trespassing. Enter at the main gate. Barbed wire rental, unless you have a pair of wire cutters on you. Just kidding. We would never do that, would we? Nah. About every 100 feet, the same sign was posted. His mother said it was part of a super secret defense project. He rode past the main driveway of the factory. Daniel thought the factory was ugly. Dachau, Auschwitz. Okay. He rode past the main driveway, working in a park-like area. His mother had said that Goliath Industries was building a country club and a golf course next to the factory, but it wouldn't be completed until September. On the other side of the road. My armrest on my arm table. Okay. Oh, I'm beat. I go right here. Daniel kept going west, away from town. Not far past the factory, he came to an old cemetery on rows and rows of tombstones. Daniel was just about to park the bike for a better look at the cemetery when it happened. The red bison handlebars and held on. That's when the handle, I don't know, somebody explained it to me. That one. Back there. I already looked at the picture. The bike glided silently up into the air as it was way higher than the highest treetop. It smelled again. As the bike sailed in the sky, a feeling soaring above the trees and fields was enough. The bicycle turned again as it rose up near the clouds. Daniel cried was smooth, and the wind felt crisp and cool and seemed to wash all the sadness off the boy. He felt relieved that the spirit flyer still worked. The car, but his mother had been dead set against it. And when his mother had said he couldn't even take it in the move truck, Daniel felt worse than any time since right after the car accident. But during the long argument before the move, the old red bicycle seemed telling Daniel not to worry. The bicycle contained. Okay. Once as more and more lost and the bicycle carried, and more lost as the bicycle carried him away from town. Some of his spirit flyers had taught him the song. He was still singing when the bicycle began to glide back down toward the earth. The boy and bike seemed out in the middle of just below the branches of a huge oak tree. He skimmed along, just turned inside the driveway, and slowly rolled to a halt. Daniel surveyed the scene. Ahead of him was a white house with blue shutters. The house seemed abandoned or like a garage or workshop. It had 2 big blue doors on the front. Then Daniel heard voices. In a flash, he got off the old bike and put behind the tree. He picked up behind the trunk and then laid the bicycle down in the tall grass. He was confused, wondering whether the bicycle had brought him. No, it's simply. Oh man, I know. I'm not Fucking good. His was hardly noticeable as he waded through the lot. Immediately, they were the same two children who had been behind him in the line in the school right before he got his number card. When the children saw Daniel, they stopped. The boy with sandy hair looked at Daniel and frowned. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "This is private property." "John, don't be so mean," the girl said. She pushed back her rich brown hair. "Riding my bike," Daniel said. "Way out here?" The boy asked. "You're 8 miles away from town. Did you know that?" "Well, I wasn't quite sure of the road miles," Daniel replied. "I just came as crow flies." Daniel turned around. "He began looking at her," as the boy said. "He was in line with all the others. He took a number card. I don't like it. Look, he's kind of crippled or something." "Shh," the girl said. "You'll hurt his feelings." Daniel walked quickly into the tall grass, trying not to let his limbs show. He felt as if his ears were burning as red as his red hair. He knew he should get a little angry at his bike out in the road. He walked out, then he scrunched down and crept back toward the house. He peeked from behind a tree. The boy immediately scrambled back around and through the gate and ran. The old red seemed to be resisting on purpose. Sweat popped out on Daniel's forehead. Just then he gave a tremendous yank and the bicycle finally at him. The boy looked surprised. The brown-haired girl with neon lights, advertising how embarrassed he felt. He was pushing it through my cousin John from Igate onto Fieldgate. Oh, crap. I should have been using this cup. I won't use that again. Darn it. Yeah, and clean it up. Okay, anyway, good night. I'm going to see if there's any comments here, and then I'm going to